I was basically describing this idea that I wanted to use AI to build creative and artistic and like video tools, which in 2014 sounded like insane, because like you need to understand, I don't know if you guys remember, but like the state of the art in 2015 when it comes to AI was an AI model that could recognize if an image contained a hot dog or it didn't contain a hot dog. That's true. That's the state of the art.
In 10 years, we've gone from not imagining AI being able to help creators to my daughter, who spent a little bit of her summer working for you, saying, I am afraid AI is going to kill human creativity. What do you think?
A lot of what we see on screens, this is my personal bet, will be completely simulated or generated. You want software that's personalized for you, just like boom, and you simulate the whole thing. The UI is simulated, it's generated on the fly. Like very soon, like trust me, very soon you're gonna have a completely generated experience that's fully personalized to you.
Imagine that one day I'd be in New York interviewing one of the leaders of the AI revolution. And he is an Endeavor entrepreneur, and Catalyst has invested in him. It's the perfect trifecta. It's wonderful. And we were also the big investor. Quadrifecta, it's fantastic. And I love him, five. So it's very, very special. And I think you got a sense of the capabilities of what Runway does. But I don't think you have a sense how cutting edge this is. And we're going to talk about it, but just to set the tone, he's competing with OpenAI and $1 trillion of CapEx. He's competing with Google and 3 billion average daily users. And he just launched his latest model last week?
Monday, yeah.
On Monday. And we have a lot of capital invested in at some really high valuation with him. And we were very scared about, this model, because, OpenAI had launched a model and Google had launched a model. And my partner that's in his board sends me this ranking of just out of the best models. And in this new ranking, it's been tested by some agency, there is a company called Whisper Thunder ranked number 1. And I'm like, shit, we missed Whisper Thunder. And Runway wasn't even in the list. And 5 seconds later, he tells me it's the stealth launch of the model by these guys. And they were classified by this rating agency as the GOAT, the greatest of all time. And it's an opportunity. And it's so proud. It's so amazing. So we'll talk a lot about what it takes to compete against the giants, but I'm always fascinated by the origin story. From Chile to the world.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Sure. Well, first of all, thank you for having me here, and great to be speaking to you all. So I guess on 4.5, definitely a big moment, a milestone. It's the best video model out there in the world, which is kind of a big deal. And we're a very small team compared to like other companies. We're just around 100 people. And the story of Runway dates back to 20...
But first, the story of Cristóbal.
Myself, okay. So, how much time do we have?
We have half an hour. This is the best part. It's like...
Let's go back. I grew up in Chile. I spent most of my life in Chile, in Santiago. I didn't knew what I wanted to do with my life. I kind of like just was curious about art and science, and like just wanted to like experiment and play with things. I ended up doing econ as like undergrad, but I also was building websites for companies on the side, and I was also making videos. So I paid my career. I don't know if I told you this. I paid for my undergrad in Chile making marketing and like websites for companies in Chile. And so I kind of like, I was a one-man show that did like all the edits or the videos. I recorded people, I recorded like ads, and then built the websites and kind of like basically charged for that. And so after that, I thought I was gonna follow like a traditional like econ like route and like work in policy and perhaps do a master's in economic. But at last minute, I found like this small niche like arts program, and I said like, fuck it, why not? So it
was a good thing to do.
So I went for a year into like a very like niche experimental like master's degree on like, I don't know if you guys know physical computing and like electronics and programming and robotics. And I spent a year doing that, and I fell in love with it. I started like doing just research. Then I ended up like teaching at that university.
NYU?
No, this is in Chile. This is before I moved. This is like 2014 to 2015, and then in 2016, I came across some early like papers on deep neural networks. This is like very early on. Everything we've seen right now. I mean, AI is like decades old, but the last revolution, the deep learning revolution, starts around 2012, 2014, 2015. And so I just fortunate enough was able to like read some early papers and went into a rabbit hole that I just obsessed. And so I was actually reading my scholarship application, because then I got a scholarship and I went to NYU. And in the scholarship application, I was basically describing this idea that I wanted to use AI to build creative and artistic and like video tools, which in 2014 sounded like insane, because like you need to understand, I don't know if you guys remember, but like the state of the art in 2015 when it comes to AI was an AI model that could recognize if an image contained a hot dog or it didn't contain a hot dog. That's true. That's the state of the art, and that was insane at the time. Like that was it. And so so I went into this rabbit hole, got a scholarship, and then decided to basically pack everything I had, which was just not a lot, leave it there in my mom's house in Chile, and then come for 2 years to New York to try to understand deeper and more, perhaps with more time, what this AI thing was all about. And my thought was like, it's just 2 years. Like, it's just been 2 years, so I'm gonna go from 2016 to 2018, and then I'll come back. It's been 10 years. I haven't been back. And Runway was my thesis at school. So it was my graduation project. And the long story short is Adobe was on my like committee review, like a senior researcher from Adobe was there, and he basically offered me a job after. It's a dream job, 2 years in New York. I've never lived outside. Some of the best companies in the world, one of the best companies in the world offers me a job. It would pay for my visa, for everything I would wanted to. And I said no. I said, like, let me try this thing I'm working on. And yeah, the rest is history.
Okay. So some people say that a startup is autobiographical for the founder. How is Runway a reflection of your values and how you see the world?
That's a good question. When we started the company back in 2018, I think many people thought it was just, first of all, not worth kind of like putting money or spending time on this. Like, there was no, like, we just saw a video that like, it's amazing, you can do this kind of things, but again, nothing of that was even imaginable, or like even like within the window where people thought was possible. I think we have just conviction of like it's worth like spending time here. And the second thing I think we've realized was like, I've never started a company, I've never raised money, I've never built a team, I've never published research. Like, there's a lot of things I haven't done. And I think the motto or the mantra that we had back then was like, we just figure it out. Like, like if you put enough like time and effort into it, like you can pretty much figure out anything you want. And I think that culture and that ethos and that like DNA of like figuring things out and like having very bold and ambitious goals has still embedded in the company. Like we have T-shirts that say just like figure it out. Like we just built a model that many people thought it was not possible to build because you needed like billions of dollars of resources, and it was so hard to compete. And it's like, no, you can figure it out, and we did. So that mantra has, I think, like kept, I would say, alive within how we think about the company.
Yeah. So in 10 years, we've gone from not imagining AI being able to help creators.
Yeah.
To my daughter, who spent a little bit of her summer working for you, saying, I am afraid AI is going to kill human creativity. What do you think?
Well, first of all, I think creativity is way more than like arts. That's more of a like obvious or very common trap is to think about creativity only within the realm of like artistic practice. So when we think about AI and creativity, people think about like, movie making, like images or paintings or like creative expression. I think creativity is a state of mind. It's a way of looking at the world. Like you can you're incredibly creative as an investor. Like the way you think about the world, the way you invest. Messi is an incredible like soccer player, like creatively in ways that perhaps no one else is. Like creativity is a state of mind. It's a way of looking at the world. It's a way you understand what you do. And AI being the most perhaps important technology we built, like as a society, can help you be more creative in all those domains, right? And so in some ways it's going to augment, and it's already happening. Like the fact that you can do stuff like that we just showed you is allowing people to explore their creative minds in ways they couldn't do before. Like I give an example. We have a security engineer, like someone who's like basically tasked with making sure like we're safe, right? As a company, infrastructure, very technical, like back-end DevOps person. When we were training one of our models, he just messaged me and he's like, Chris, I'm obsessed. And why are you obsessed? It's like, well, when I grew up, I never had craft skills, so no one really like incentivized me to like express things. But now I can just use Runway and like type things and get things out of my head, and like they're fun and I feel like creatively excited, like I've never felt before. And I don't want to become a filmmaker, I don't want to change my career, but it's great. I'm exercising my creative brain, my creative muscle that I've not exercised in a while, just for my own personal like gratification. I found that's amazing. Like that's what technology should be about. It like allows you to do things that you couldn't do before, and I think that we need more of that in the world.
So there's the biblical story of David against Goliath, which is taking on someone who's twice size as the biblical story. You're taking on someone that's 1,000 times bigger.
That's fun. Yeah.
How does one succeed when you are dancing with like humongous giants with resource and distribution and technology and like just every possible advantage they have, except
I think so. If you look back, like pragmatically as to why I think we've managed to do what we managed to do, I think when we started working on this, no one cared, right? There was no idea of why this would even matter in the first place. And I think you build intuition and you build experience if you try and you hit a wall and you try again, you hit a wall and you try again, you hit a wall. And if it works, and this is an incredibly exciting market, you should expect more people to come and follow you. Like that's obvious, right? If we didn't have the best companies trying to like copy us, then like it wouldn't be an exciting market. And now we have. But then we realized that once that happens, you basically go and like set the tone again as to where things are going to go, right? And I think something we're really good at is, I think we have long-term like vision and strategy into how we want to see the world evolve, and we build towards that. And it happens to be the case that within some particular length of time, you're going to have competition, and you have other companies trying to like get part of the market. But I think what has consistently differentiated us as a very small team is that we make these very bold bets on things that sound insane, that eventually become like obvious. And I think being able to consistently shift and move the window is kind of like a special skill, I would say.
So from the outside, I think part of your success formula is culture.
Yeah.
Talk to us about the Runway culture.
Yeah, so
and the loyalty you've been able to get from such a diverse group of co-founders and team members.
So this is maybe my. I mean, you might understand this better, like my Latin American roots. But so we're 3 founders. We're 2 Chileans and 1 Greek. And I've never worked in tech before this. So I went to Silicon Valley like once before I started the company. So I didn't have like deep cultural connections to this like hacker mentality and culture. And I think I started to build a company in a way that felt much more like, I think how you do things in like South America, which is like more family, more like group, like in Chile, like the way my mom raised us is like everyone gets dinner together, you sit together at the table at 8 p.m., it's a family thing, there's no TV, you just like, and so we did that for many years. Like every single day, the whole company got lunch. I mean, we're like 20 people, so it was not. But then like we're 110 now, and it still happens. And so within the DNA of the company, it's like there's these moments of like it feels like a very tight group of people that all respects each other really like a lot. There's very low ego, so we obsess with like finding the right people. I interview everyone, and sometimes we interview people who are like technically excellent, just like very good, but complete assholes. We're like, no. Like even if you're gonna contribute to like code and you're gonna make like if you can work with like the DNA of the company, then we're not gonna make a trade-off. And I think you obsess around that. You obsess around like what makes us like I think unique, special, like that creative like combination of how we think about the world. It's embedded in research, in the team. It motivates the team, and then obsess around it. I think culture is like you make or break companies with it. And I think we made something special with our culture.
It's interesting that you're drawing on your Latin roots to an advantage, competing in the frontier. A second key success factor from my perspective is how you've engaged with creators, with studios and owners of brands, which I would say is also perhaps from a Latin perspective, rooted in some traditions and respect.
Right.
Tell about how you engage with those critical audiences.
Yeah, so again, it all comes from like, I would say how we think about the world very authentically. Like, I think we're gonna go to very soon a world where you can make pretty much anything like on a screen that you want, and I can speak more about this in a bit. But like we're seeing like the answer of like could AI automate media and creativity or video or help creators make more things is answered. The answer is yes. You're gonna do more things beyond that. We're now going into robotics, into gaming, into life sciences. There's a lot of things these video models are really good at. And I think when we chat with like the media world, with Hollywood, with studios, when we meet with them, and when you sit across the board with like a award-winning filmmaker or like a studio who's made some of the best films in the world, if you don't understand their craft, if you don't understand really what they care about, it's never going to work. And I think that's what they tell us consistently. Like they get other tech companies to come and show them their like tech, and it comes across incredibly like naive or like unauthentic. It's like tech trying to like, hey, I made a video, like use it. And like filmmakers are like, I don't care. Like I need these specific things to make it useful. Like the video we just showed you, it's called Aleph. It's a model that allows you to modify and transform videos. And that was a lot informed by how we think and chatted and knew about what filmmakers wanted. And so in every industry that we go into, and now we're venturing to other industries, you have to really understand your users and your people and their kind of like motivations and spend time with it. I think if you don't, you're just gonna miss the point altogether.
I have a fun anecdote. Last March, we were celebrating 45 years of General Atlantic. And for our annual meeting, our marketing department has spent 6 months and $500,000 to produce a 3-minute video, which was fine. And I looked at it and I was like, $500,000? And it was like 2 days before the event. And we called Chris and said, can you do a video in 1 day? And in a few hours.
Yeah, it was like...
Killed it. It was our founder as a child having a vision, and then an eagle's view of us opening offices in different places and our brands. It was just breathtaking, and it took a day.
Yeah.
And a subscription of $200 a month or
like $7.
$7.
Yeah. And text messages. It was all done by a text message.
It was all done by text message. I mean, help us dream 5 years from now.
Okay.
What can you do with Runway? Like how crazy is it going to get?
So 5 years is a lot of time in AI world.
Okay, 5 months. 5 months from now.
If I extrapolate what I think I've seen over time and where things are heading and like the models and the research that are being trained right now, I think it's very feasible to imagine a world where you can move beyond generations. So what you're doing with generations right now is like you're seeing a video and you're like kind of predicting the next frame and it all feels cohesive, and so you have like motion, and so therefore like scenes, and then therefore you can build like more cohesive stuff, right? But really like what these models are doing, like what video models are doing, are understanding the world in the same way that we understand the world, right? So what this means is if I grab like your microphone and I like drop it to the like ground, we can all for a minute before I drop it predict what will happen in that like action. You can like visualize in your head. You can understand that the mic will drop. You can like understand there will be like a noise and like maybe like something will break. Like you can simulate actions in your brain, right? Video models are basically the same. Video models are able to simulate next kind of actions, right? And they're able to like understand the world, the geometries of the world, collisions, like occlusion, like movements, in similar ways that we do, right? And so if models have now an imagination or like a simulation engine or a world model, then you could technically take that idea and like further like develop it like beyond like what we're seeing right now, where you can start simulating science experiments. You can start simulating how two objects might behave. You can start simulating like the impact of like one particular design with air. You can simulate how robots move in the world. And you can simulate pretty much anything. You can simulate like interfaces. You can simulate computers, right? And so this idea of like simulation becomes like feasible. And I think within the next like 5 years, if you think about the next 5 years, a lot of what we see on screens, this is my personal bet, will be completely simulated or generated. You want software that's personalized for you, just like Doom, and you simulate the whole thing. The UI is simulated, it's generated on the fly. You want to learn something, like if I want to learn anything, I'm learning like to play the guitar now. The first thing I do is go to YouTube and try to find a video that like matches the thing. Like very soon, like trust me, very soon you're gonna have a completely generated experience that's fully personalized to you. You wanna play a game like about something you just like dream about, you can just simulate the game itself. I think within the next definitely 5 years, we're gonna get there in most of those domains.
So artificial general intelligence, this idea that we're gonna create the superhuman that can create the cure for cancer overnight. Right. And you're going to be able to explain this better than me, but the latest thinking is these language models are limited by the limits of language. That there's only so many things you put in words.
Correct.
And that there is this concept of a world model, that it's not limited by language, but incorporates everything that happens in the real world with the laws of physics. And that video models like Runway are closer to a world model, and maybe are a path to AGI,
correct,
more than language models, which OpenAI is investing $1 trillion on that. What do you think? Explain to the world what is a world model, and do you think video models are closer to it?
Yeah, so I think you're right. It's kind of what I was just speaking just before, but I think language models are somehow getting like bottlenecked by kind of what you're describing, which is language is an abstraction humans have made around reality, right? Language doesn't fully describe reality. It's an abstraction on top of what's happening in the world. And so what you want is actually models that can generalize around how the world actually works, right? So for a long time, we have these very narrow systems that can be very good at coding or very good at like generating like sequences of images. A world model should be a system, an AI system, that can understand the world at large and can take actions within the world, right? So I'll give you an example. In one of the largest like areas of investment these days is robotics. There's a lot of progress being done in robotics. Like the hardware part is accelerating really fast, but like the bottleneck is still like software. How do you make systems, the robotic systems understand the world? And one of the parts in the software that it's still like bottleneck is data. So if you want to train warehouse robot to understand how to pick things, right, and move them around, or you have a house robot that wants to like, I don't know, do the dishes, you have to teach the system how you do dishes, right? And so what companies do is create the data. So there's like a company that has like this is true, 1,000-person, I don't know how many people in Mexico who attach themselves like GoPros in the head. And they're like hours every single day just folding clothes, like moving things around. That's training data that then you'd give a model to create a policy on which you then deploy that policy into a robot, see how it works, gather more data. You can now generate the data, so you simulate the data. So I don't have to have people doing things. I can just like literally generate a robot moving things. I can change the different materials on the tables. I can just create it. I can take that, train a model, and then not only train the model, but test the policy, which is the model you've trained around the robot, in the simulation back again. So the model has there's a world model that understands how actions happen in the world. You're then deploying this in another simulation, and then you're like testing it entirely within a simulation itself before you actually deploy to the real world. And the only way you can do that is by having real AI models that understand the world. And so the way you get there, I think we've been working on this idea of world models for almost like, we 2022, 2023 was like when we announced it. I think the way you get there is by video, is by having the systems that can visualize the world, understand it, and then effectively make actions and take kind of like decisions on it.
So that's all the positive dream. There's also the nightmare,
Okay.
which is these models can be used by dark actors to do really bad things. And all of us have seen deep fakes. All of us have seen, celebrities being used for things that are not PG-13. How do we think about the dangers of the world models, and how is Runway thinking ahead and thinking of alignment and safety?
Yeah. So look, this is a very powerful technology. It's like changing pretty much every industry, and will continue to do a lot. Of course, there's like misuses. I would say the misuses are relatively like manageable if you have like really strong safety and alignment teams. And this is like specific to every company, and I guess the culture and the vision that they might have. So I can't speak for everyone. We have very dedicated and specific teams for safety. We measure moderation. Like there's a lot of things you can do. You can do all of it. Of course, you're gonna get it perfect at the first time. But like any major technology, like the internet when it was first like born, there was a lot of like also similar concerns, right? I think collectively as a society, we updated our biases, we updated the norms, the laws, we updated how we work with each other, we understood and updated our internal world models to try to make sense of this and make it safe, right? And I think the net positive income of the internet has been great. There still might be like a 1% or less than 1% of like bad actors. And I think within AI, it's going to happen something similar, where like 99% of the things we're going to make collectively are going to be insane and amazing. And there's going to be a small part of the world that will still find ways of like misusing this. We are trying to make sure that that's the minimum amount possible.
Okay. I've always been shocked how few global leading firms have emerging market founders. And specifically thinking of Latin America, I've come to the conclusion that it's not a deficit of talent. We have incredibly talented people. It's no longer a deficit of capital, because thanks to the good work of Endeavor and Catalyst, there's enough capital for outstanding. It's a deficit of ambition. You'd have no deficit of ambition. Where does it come from?
Wow.
I didn't give you that question.
Yeah. I don't think you're wrong. What I see in Chile, where sometimes I spend most of my like time helping like or advising people, is I think there's this very regional mind of like, we can't do that. It's like what gringos do. We're in Chile, like, and like then if you push people to think big, it's like, oh yeah, the whole country. No, like bigger. Okay, Argentina and Chile. It's like, and then like you need to like force people to think that you can actually build like way more than just within the local space of where you are. And I don't know, I feel part of it is like cultural in a way. Like within Latin America, at least, like where I have perhaps more of an experience, is it's a very cultural way of looking at the world. You always look at yourself like you're in the last kind of part of the world. Like Chile is a very like country that's surrounded by nature everywhere, so it's always been isolated a little bit. And I think you can see that in how people sometimes think. That like trying to force them to push like themselves like more ambitiously it's sometimes hard because they don't have a reference or a role model. Like, I think when you come here, like when you come to, what I love about New York is that you go anywhere in New York and you're in the subway next to like a 4-star, 3-star Michelin chef. You have a filmmaker on the side who's like on like making a movie. You have like an engineer. It's like the best people in the world, and you get like, oh, fuck, I can also try to do this, you know? Maybe what we need more is like a role model, people who can like inspire others to have like a reference of what they can do. I don't think I had that in Chile. I had to come here to like find it.
Thank you for being a role model, and good luck defeating Goliath.
Thank you.